Our featured guest on the line, I met him 2 years ago. I was led to him through five-star ambassador Susan Passetti. He was a mentor and in another company all along the time, mentoring others towards success. Guys, he is the founder of NSI International. He's a U.S. Army veteran, captain and ranger, graduate of West Point with a bachelor's in sociology and finance, and he's got an MBA in strategic management and finance. He's authored 3 books on success, mindset, and finance. And guys, I am fired up because this dude is more focused, he brings more insight, and he's probably one of the most disciplined individuals I have ever met. Mr. Nate Scott, are you with us?
I am, Josh, I am. Thanks for having me, brother.
You bet, man. Welcome to the call. All right, I want to jump right into it, man, because I know you have some good stuff. So Tenacity Tribe, clearly we know that a foundation of everything we focus on is building that emotional connection when we're talking to people about joining the challenge and also joining the business. Well, when I was down in the Orlando Regional at an event, while I was grabbing a quick bite to eat, Nate and I connected in the hallway, and we just started some small talk, which led to this conversation. So events change and impact lives, and I'd say my reason for going to Orlando led to why we have Nate Scott on the phone right now. So he said, you know what, Josh, I want to offer you a challenging thought. Maybe rather than focusing on the emotional charge of why people should get involved with this profession and the challenge, why don't we look at it from a logical and fundamental angle of why network marketing can be used as a tool and why most people need it. So I'm going to start off. Nate, can you give us more insight of that foundational understanding and logic versus the temporary emotional charge?
Absolutely. Josh, one of the things that oftentimes happens is people get really, really excited about the idea, and really they're doing that because you've transferred your energy over to them. And so therefore, that leads them oftentimes to getting involved. And right now what I'm speaking about is specifically about the opportunity. See, one thing that's unique about ViSalus is that I consider ViSalus to be a legitimate opportunity. And what I mean by legitimate, is that I have a sniff test for companies. I get calls all the time from people that are trying to get me into some deal. And my sniff test is I don't want to recruit anyone. Show me I can still make money. And that's what we have here with ViSalus. We are the challenge, the challenge, the challenge, the challenge. We are really sincere when we say, are you a 1, 2, or 3, because we're addressing a real issue, and that issue is obesity. With 7,671 people per day dying, we know that there's a reason for us to be out here sharing this message. And so I want to first and foremost say that is what we're about. We're the challenge. But with this call here, we're talking about promoters. We're talking about this opportunity. And the fundamental thing is this. When you understand that you have a real solution to a real problem that's going on out here in this world with 77 million baby boomers marching towards retirement as we speak, some are 10 years away or less. And see, unfortunately, most are quite ill-prepared and ill-equipped to make their visions and expectations for retirement actually come true. You got to really understand that. And see, they don't know how much to save, and they don't appropriately invest in order to create a portfolio that will last them a lifetime of retirement. And what we have here is we have an opportunity for someone to actually create a real asset that gives them the opportunity to generate cash flow, and that's why we're in business. See, there are 3 reasons to be in any business, and the order of priority is like this. Number 1 reason is have cash right now. The number 2 reason to be in business is that you got to have cash flow monthly. And then number 3, you want cash in the future. So you want cash now, you want cash flow monthly, and then you want cash in the future. You can't get to the future without first going through the present. Let me say that again. You can't get to the future without first going through the present. And just think about what we have with the challenge. If we go week to week, then that's going to give us the opportunity to get cash flow right now. Every Monday we'll get an opportunity to get a check. That residual income that comes after we hit a particular rank, that's that cash flow monthly income, and then we got cash in the future. And so the key is this. You don't want to have everyone jacked out of their mind without making a logical decision and without tying it back to their real need and their real desire, because if you do, then what you'll find yourself, just as you've been able to motivate them to get started, you're going to have to find yourself motivating them to continue. And you really don't want that, because you didn't want a job. And surely they didn't sign up for this volunteer program for you to act as if you're their boss. And so when you understand that there are real needs out here, because the question is this, what is the retirement danger that no one is talking about? You see, you've invested a lifetime into your work, and when you retire, you deserve to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But if you're like 75% of Americans born after 1945, you're going to have to retire on your own without a pension or confidence that Social Security will contribute to that retirement you've earned. But unfortunately, many people won't realize how ill-prepared they are for retirement until it's too late. And just by knowing that and just having a few little nuggets, and I'll show you some calculations to show you how to put this into perspective, well, then you put yourself in a situation where not only do you have the power of the communal effect of what you've got going on, but you also have it tied to something where there's no reason anyone that actually understood would ever leave or quit, because what they will be able to achieve within this environment is something that they would not be able to achieve with a lifetime of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, man. That's big stuff. So up to this point, so many of us have just transferred our excitement without any depth. And that's what you're going to share with us, is that depth and that foundation to build off of, and then the combination of that and excitement turns into something pretty powerful. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. The power of the transferring of the relationship. You see, this is relationship marketing, so that means it's easy for you to share something just from your personal testimony about what's going on. And then once you've done that, well, then, like I said, just because someone may know, like, and trust you, they may just give you their credit card. In fact, Josh, I'll be honest with you. I've called up people and simply said, hey, do you trust me? They say, yes, give me your credit card. All that other stuff was just simply time wasting, because at the end of the day, it was about really having a relationship. But the problem is, once that happens, that may be good for that quick hit. But what do you do when you see your volume is dropping? Well, see, then you got to go and ask yourself, really, why did that happen? Did they actually get started because they had a real reason, they had a real why, and they actually had their own personal reason for them to stick and to do on their own? Or were they simply doing it because it was simply out of a commitment to the relationship, and the only reason that they were staying involved was because they saw that I was staying committed? But what happens if I actually fall off? Would they look at me as if I let them down? Or am I in a position where I'm giving them a real tangible solution to meet their actual need? Am I showing them how much I care about them before they know how much I know? And if I am, well, then I should feel no hesitation in sharing something that's very good. And here's what you're going to be equipped with, and this is what you want to write down. I want you to know that, as I said, 77 million baby boomers retiring right now. 66 out of 100 people age 65 earn less than $30,000. 13% earn over $30,000. 5% earn over $60,000. 1 is wealthy, and 15 are dead. 66 out of 100 people age 65 are earning less than $30,000. Well, here's what I want to arm you with. Do you know that if you just simply had an extra $500 a month coming in on a residual basis, an extra $500, doesn't sound like a lot, but let's put it into perspective. An extra $500 a month coming in that capacity is like having $120,000 in the bank at 5% interest. So let me ask you, in your current occupation, how long would it take you to save $120,000? Let's bring it to the home. If a person is making $120,000 a year and they were saving 10% of their income, then that means they were saving $12,000 each year. That's 10 years in order to get the equivalent. And see, when you understand it at that fundamental level, and you're comparing the opportunity to generate an extra $500 a month by simply being involved with this particular opportunity where you're inviting family and friends and anyone that you can come in contact with to take a look at something, versus being in a job where there's no way, shape, or form you're going to save $120,000 and continue to do that, well, then this is a pretty good deal. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, 1,000%. This is what I want to do, Nate. I'm going to post something on Facebook. Team, if you like what you're hearing, I want you to friend Nate Scott on Facebook. give him a shout on his wall. Let us know, because this is only half of the content that we're going to cover. Nate, I want you to give us some final thoughts. And team, if you're digging this, because I am, if Nate can find time, we could have him back on another call, because literally this is only 50% of what we're going to go over, but I don't want to miss that Project 10 announcement of our tribe members. So guys, let us know what you think. Let us know what you feel. Nate, you know the rest of the agenda. What do you want to touch on wrapping this up? Let's say 3 or 4 minutes.
Well, let me just wrap it up with just a simple story to really get to the heart of what we really are about and what we really need to keep first and foremost without getting so thrown off and looking at this as a long-term marathon as opposed to just a sprint. And I want to share that with you based upon a story. You know, in the mid-1800s, there was a famous tightrope walker from France who was known as the Great Blondin. In fact, Charles Blondin was his name. In 1855, the Great Blondin made the trip to New York to join a traveling show. It was there that he came up with the idea that would make him famous. The Great Blondin ran 1,100-foot rope across the gorge at Niagara Falls, 160 feet above the water, and attempted to cross it. I mean, can you really imagine that? I want you to think about it. 1,100-foot rope across Niagara Falls, 160 feet above the water. On June 30th, 1859, he successfully crossed Niagara Falls. News traveled quickly, and he soon had enormous crowds of people coming to watch this crazy feat. Never to be outdone, the Great Blondin soon began to add more to his act than simply walking across the rope. He crossed the falls once with his manager on his back. Another time he carried a rope on his shoulder to the middle of the falls, tied it on the main rope, shimmied down, and took a drink out of the water below, and then climbed back up and crossed the rest of the way. Another time he carried a chair to the middle, balanced one leg of the chair on the rope, and stood on top. The Great Blondin was the greatest tightrope walker that ever lived. Then one day, after he crossed the falls, an old man pushing a wheelbarrow approached the Great Blondin and said, "Sir, I want you to push my wheelbarrow across the rope." The Great Blondin studied the man for a moment and replied, "I'll do it, but only if you climb in the wheelbarrow." The man climbed in the wheelbarrow. As you continue to listen into these calls and continue to stay plugged into your tribe and just really go out here and become an industry professional, I'll make you a deal. If you climb in the wheelbarrow, I'll take you across along with the other leaders that are in this industry, because we generally care about actually impacting people's lives. Now, what does it mean to climb in the wheelbarrow? It means that you're not just going to just listen into the calls, but you're actually going to study the content. You're going to take your notepads. You're going to go into events. You're going to go ahead and make a commitment to grow so that you're a professional within this industry, so that you're equipped to actually lead people, and so that you're able to actually push people across with complete conviction within your wheelbarrow. It means that you're going to practice these techniques, and you're going to make it your very, 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 very best effort to never give up. Climb in the wheelbarrow, and we will take you across the rope. Until next time, this is Nate Scott, www.asknatescott.com. I definitely look forward to connecting with you guys. Continue to do great things. Be blessed.